Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and thank you for joining and watching the Gaming Circle podcast, a podcast where each week we attempt to take the topics of the day, the topics of the week, and break it down for you, have you understand it a little bit better, make some evergreen topics, if you will, some evergreen
Most times we
conversation.
fail, but
Yeah, we try. And on this journey, as you've heard, that we try every week, I'm joined by my brother, the man who needs no introduction, but I tend to give him one anyway, Mr. Everborn Saga. How you doing this morning, sir?
I'm all right, man. I was up late playing some games and then woke up early and played some more. I
All
caught
right.
the Resident Evil bug. So
Okay.
when we talk about what we're playing, I'll explain that.
Oh,
but yeah.
no, shoot. I appreciate you saying that. Let's get right into that then. So what have you been playing this week?
All week I have been playing Resident Evil Village, and I think I finished it on Wednesday or Thursday. 13 and a half hours on the first playthrough. And it ties back into 7 at the end without giving any spoilers. And so now I'm like, well, I got to go play 7 because I skipped 7, as I said last week. And I'm playing 7 now, and it's hard to go back. I don't like graphics, fine, but like you have allegedly had military training in Village, so you were trained by Chris Redfield. So like you see things and you can shoot them, you can fight them. You know what I mean? You can do things, you can fend for yourself. And in part 7, like you're kind of running from everyone, and it's kind
of difficult to go backwards.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm not scared of you.
He should be. He doesn't have military training yet.
Yeah, but so the lesson to learn here, folks, is that
the numbers are there for a
reason. Yes. Do things in chronological order. So the other thing that I tried for a little bit, maybe like 20-25 minutes, and it just wasn't for me yet, is unfortunately the Scarlet Nexus demo. I was not feeling it. Not yet. But it's a good
segue. I'll throw a little bit of video, a little B-roll on here because I've played a little bit of it myself. So please speak on it. Tell me.
So I think, first of all, again, I want to be very clear. This is a demo. Things are subject to change. It's a work in progress. I know this. There's a ton of issues with the game I'm working on right now. So I get it. No shade to anybody. I like the premise mostly, I think. It seems like the play mechanics are based heavily on combos, but I don't fully understand how they work yet. But again, I was only playing for about 20 minutes. And the idea of grabbing things and throwing them while you're in the middle of a combo, but then that kind of pushes you back, so it takes you out of your combo loop, is kind of jarring to me, right? And again, like I said, there's weird issues with the camera where there's action happening, or my teammates are attacking someone, or I'm attacking someone, but I don't see it. Right. So all of those things, I would like to see fixed, and I'll give it another shot. And then they were talking about like loot drops. So I don't know if this is supposed to be some kind of looter slasher kind of thing. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But I'm not really into the whole looter shooter or looter slasher kind
Let
of
me
thing.
tell you.
I don't like random drops. Is what I'm trying to say.
Understood. Let me tell you my experience with this a little bit. So me playing this game, let me preface it by saying I'm not the biggest JRPG person. It's no shade to JRPGs. It's just I didn't grow up with it as some folks did, and JRPGs have their formula, right? They have their thing that people know for, that JRPGs tend to be known for.
Usually turn-based.
Usually turn-based. The modern JRPGs are not, but still they have a lot of those same tropes. They have a lot of the same kind of things. And like I hear this is very much compared to Astral Chain. I saw a little bit of that, but I didn't really play that. And that was on a Switch game. I was surprised. So the demo has two people, two different choices. You play the boy or the girl, I forget their names. and it's about a 35-minute, 40 at most minute demo, right? And depending on which one you pick, it's not just cosmetic because each of them have different styles, different moves. Actually, they even have different missions. So, to my understanding, they will at some point meet in the gameplay, in the storyline. But if you play one side of the demo, you may see things that you won't see on the other side of the demo.
Okay.
What's the first playthrough? I exactly understand what you're talking about. Everything you just said, 100%. I don't understand it. They just drop you in, even though they tutorial you. It's just
tutorial is garbage.
They're convoluted and ridiculous, you know. But like something told me to just, give it a try. Second playthrough, I like the gameplay.
Okay.
It's interesting. I think they need to do a better job explaining themselves. But once they do explain themselves, the gameplay is actually quite interesting. Where you're basically they're borrowing the powers of your class or of your teammates. Depending on what the challenge is. Now, is it a perfect execution? I agree with you, it is not. There's the cameras are weird and all of that. Completely agree. And they really want you to spend a lot of time on that snapping the camera to whichever bad guy you're fighting, right? So that you keep them focused even though you're moving really quickly. And it's kind of difficult to do that while thinking of all these different things. So yes, you're absolutely right. The camera needs some work, but I was surprised. The gameplay loop was interesting. Some enemies can't be seen unless you use a specific power that slows down time. Some enemies are as soon as they see you, they'll cloak or they'll go away. So you have to use their stealth. And each of these powers are not yours; they belong to other teammates. So you have to like borrow their stuff and use it. So it was kind of cool. Like you are absolutely right that their explanation of it was ridiculous, and the JRPG-ness of it is really funny to me because they're like that. Like their internal monologue is very external. So you're hearing them say some really like weird dialogue that I think is a very JRPG thing,
It's funny though that you say that because I struggle with that, like with the Everborn series, right? Like so it's very sort of manga anime inspired, but we still try to do it in a Western way. So we're melding those things, but I know from watching all these animes that I've watched over the years, that's a very important thing where their internal monologues are external. Like they have to, they explain what they're thinking way too much. Yes. And I don't want to do that in my writing, but I also want it to feel like an anime, and that's a constant struggle.
I thought this was going to be difficult, but I'm actually enjoying myself.
Yeah,
these are not bad people to hang out with. I'm just like, dude, like, it's just so strange, and it just takes some getting used to. But when the gameplay actually clicked in for me a little bit, I was like, okay, I might actually want to play this. Now, it's not enough for me to be like, hey, I'm sold, right. But I'm far more likely to play this game now than I was when I just saw the trailers for it and whatnot. Gameplay alone seems interesting to me. So
it's funny that you said that because I was sold from the trailers.
Oh, and now you're not.
I was at the point where I didn't know if I wanted to play the demo because I didn't want to be spoiled for when the real thing comes out. And now I played the demo and I'm like, I don't know if I like this, which is very strange.
Yeah. But then again, you also have more history playing these kinds of games, right? You played more of these.
Yeah. But again, I have to clarify, I only played it for about 20-25 minutes. Sure, I don't have a full, like where you're at right now. I did this and then I got into the first mission and then I was like, okay, I'm going back to Resident Evil.
Oh, the end boss is cool. Like, like it was cool. Like, and if I had stopped just about 5 minutes from here, I probably would be exactly where you are and would not have gotten further. Because and I played it twice with both of them. So the first time I finished, I was like, oh, okay. And then the second time I was like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. The dialogue is ridiculous. The cameras are still weird. The scenery, I hope, gets better because as nice as it is, and it is really nice aesthetically, it's just one dead city to another dead city, one dead area and another dead area. It's just post-apocalyptic deadness everywhere, and it just kind of gets a little stale after a while. But then again, like you said, it's a demo, so hopefully that switches up.
Do you?
And they have a little bit of melodrama in there that's kind of interesting. It's kind of funny. So we'll see. What were you saying?
No, I said, are there any like set pieces in it, like where there's like a big action event?
Yeah. So like, I guess the idea, these guys are called the Other, and there are small normal others, and then there are the huge monstrous others. So at some point in the demo, you come across an other that has been known to kill other agents, that have been known to kill these, they call them SAS agents.
Okay.
So like, and you have to be careful with them because those are the ones that take teamwork to take down. That part was actually kind of cool. I dug it. Again, it's a little bit. I'm coming to this as a noob of the JRPG persuasion, but I might give this one a shot. Did I buy it? No, I bought something else, but we'll talk about that one a little later.
Okay.
But yes, so okay, and this was playing this and a few other games the last couple of days. So this was interesting to me. We'll see where it goes. So is this all you've been playing?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm gonna start up Alien Isolation maybe later today if my wife doesn't kill me. But yes.
Understood. So let's see. Besides this, I've been playing some, as you can see from my background, I have to represent a little bit. I have been playing Aerial Knights Never Yield.
Nice.
Now,
I bought this, but I haven't played it yet because I'm a big fan of the developer. I got the whole weekend, man. It's coming.
All I'll say is, like, everyone's played this kind of game before. If you've had an iPhone in the last however many years, you've played an endless runner before, okay? But don't let the idea of, it's just an endless runner fool you. It is dripping with that black swagger. It is so good. The music, the style, the story, the way he adds, it is so good. I cannot stop listening to that music. I keep it in the background. It's just bumping in my head all weekend long. It's so good. It really is. I've been enjoying it. So in between, like, your Mass Effects and your this and that, every once in a while I'll be like, I'll play this for a minute, and then 20 minutes later I'm still going. There's this the way he set it up where the instrumentals and now if you see my horrible gameplay right now, I just keep failing at the same spot, but I'm just going to keep it riding. So you see how I have the arrow pointing to the right over there? Like, if you recall, there were those during the Mario Brothers days who just weren't patient enough to just play it as it was, and they're always running. That's me.
Yeah.
So it's an endless runner already, but I'm also in extra run mode, and because of that, I keep making mistakes. But I'm just like, no, it's more fun when you're even faster than you're supposed to be. But it's a really, really enjoyable game. It's not too long. I think I'm about maybe 70% in. There's a lot of like little hidden this and that I have to kind of go back and search out, but I'm really enjoying it. And the music is excellent, so good.
Just from all the things I've seen from it just feels like if you mixed Subway Surfer with a De La Soul album.
Yes. Very good analogy. Very good. Yes.
No, but this is one I'm definitely going to check out. Can you play this on xCloud?
Not yet. I don't think it's on Game Pass yet.
Okay.
It might be. Well, at this point, it's literally released for everything. It's on Switch, it's on PS5, it's on everything. But they haven't added it to Game Pass yet. And I remember when the developer was being asked if it would come to Game Pass, he was very like, so at some point I suspect it will. In the here and now, though, I would say developer of color, did it by himself, all by himself, a few odds and ends here and there. He did such a great job. And I think it's even cheaper than its original MSRP right now. That's on like the discount, at least on Xbox where I played it was. If you have a chance to, buy the game. Show the man some love. It's really fun. You'll enjoy it. And I use it as my gaming palate cleanser while I'm playing. So
yeah, man. I'm definitely gonna get into this. So
yeah. It's real fun. Oh, and we have Cybernox in the chat. Welcome, gentlemen. We appreciate y'all coming to join us. We're trying to grow and be like you one day. So yes, so it's been fun gaming for me this week. Any other games you've been playing with?
No, I haven't turned on the PS5 since I gave up on
On
Returnal,
Returnal?
but I want to go back and because it's just in my list of things to play, which is
Yeah.
no, not Returnal. I'm not coming back to that till like next year. I'm
Okay.
just angry at it because I really
Yeah.
liked it, and then it pissed me off too many times. So
Hey, even developers
they're
are
on
saying they
timeout.
need to add a save system. So maybe we'll see that soon. Who knows? We'll
Yeah,
know.
but no, Horizon Zero Dawn.
Oh, awesome.
So I've just started that, and
Okay.
I wanna finish it before the sequel comes out this year. So
Yep.
I'm gonna get back to it soon. But
On
again,
PS5?
on PS5, yeah.
Okay.
Come
Yeah.
on.
Well,
Man.
hey, because you could have played it on PC, which is where I am replaying it now.
Oh well, okay. I'll give you that. No, but
And on PC, it is brilliant. Like, wow, brilliant.
I know
It's
they
so
had
good.
some issues when they launched. But anyway,
When they launch, yes.
But
Mhm.
it's really just a steady march to Ratchet and Clank at this point.
The Ratchet Clank. Yep.
And
I hear
then
you.
we'll go from there. All right, so let's go. Let's get into what.
So yes, real quick, we did the Scarlet Nexus demo, which I enjoyed. Aerial Knights, which still playing. Mass Effect Mass Effect Legendary Edition, still rocking that. That's going to be my forever game for probably the rest of this year. I sip it like a fine wine. I'm still on one. I'm still enjoying the hell out of it.
I forgot. I was playing that this week too.
There you go.
So I remember like I came back to Andromeda and I was like, oh, it's not that bad, right? I don't know why people gave it such a bad rap. And then you play Mass Effect 1 again and you're like, yeah, Andromeda is that bad.
It was that bad, yeah. Oh, real quick, to answer your question, Cyber, we have not, I don't think there is a PS5 version of Horizon just yet, but the PS4 version plays real good on the PS5. It's real clean. So I'm hoping they possibly drop some kind of update, but you know how it is. On the PS5, they actually have to make a conscious effort to do that upgrade. So they may be putting all their eggs in the next iteration basket rather than cleaning up the old one for the next gen.
I mean, the next iteration is probably the same engine, just taking advantage of the new hardware. But we're not ready for that conversation.
That's neither here nor there. Oh, and one last thing before we get to the meat and the potatoes of the issues right now, Mass Effect and the Mass Effect Legendary Edition led me down the path of No Man's Sky. Did you see what they did this week?
I did see that they put the Normandy in there.
Oh,
I was playing
back in it, baby.
I was playing No Man's Sky a couple of weeks back when they did the next gen patch. And then I was also playing it on PC, and it's really addictive, and that's why I had to stop playing it because I'm like, oh,
going.
This is
the resource gathering. Oh boy.
No. Like I can't do games like that. Like I need a game with a clear end, because if I don't feel like a game has a clear ending, I am just wasting my time. There's other things I could be doing.
Yep.
Like I can't play for the sake of playing. I need to complete something.
But I will tell you, the game has, like, and I was saying this on Twitter, the story of that game, the turnaround of that game needs to be written in books. Like someone needs to really document like where it started and how it, because it has made such a turnaround.
And by someone you mean CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, that's a different conversation. But you have been playing No Man's Sky. I love that.
No. I played it when the next gen patch came out. I put like 5 or 6 hours into it. Maybe even more. Maybe like 10.
It's not
10
a good single player game. But if you play with friends, okay, it's not that it's not a good it really is a good single player game. But like you said, it's one of those loops that never ends. So eventually you'll either get stuck in it or you'll just like fall off, because where's the point? But when you play with people, oh, it's so much fun. You're building bases, you're races, you're riding crazy animals, and now they put the Normandy in the thing. It's so much fun. It really is. And in VR, oh my God, that thing is just next level. Anyway.
What's happening, Boogeyman?
Yeah, Boogie, how you doing, bro? Good to see you. So yes, let's transition from what we've been playing to basically the meat potatoes of the matter. Why we're here, right? Everyone's talking about it. Let us also be the ones to talk about it as well this week. the 20th anniversary of the Xbox and all the various celebrations that have happened online, whether it be through all of our favorite content creators or through Xbox themselves on their socials. You know, we won't regurgitate what has been said throughout the week, because I've had fun watching all the various shows, Boom shows, all the various shows discuss all the great things that have happened in the world of Xbox from as of late. But I will ask you, you know, if you have any anecdotal your own stories of Xbox, how Xbox has influenced you in these 20 years of their existence. What do you think?
Well, so here's the thing. I grew up like the Iron Lords as a Sega kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
I had the Sega Genesis, I had the 32X, I had the Sega CD. I put them all together like Voltron, right? I was on the Sega Saturn, and then the Dreamcast, which I think is the greatest console of all time. And I was like a damn child, like heartbroken, like finding out there was no Santa Claus or something when I heard Sega was getting out of the console business.
Yeah.
But you know, I knew that they had been working with Microsoft for the Dreamcast, because the Dreamcast was running Windows CE, which is probably part of the reason why it failed, because people were able to bootleg it so much. And when and at the time, I'm like, oh, this is. I'm not thinking about all the terrible business decisions that Sega made. I'm thinking like, oh, this is Sony's fault. They came in the game and they pushed Sega out, and they're the big tech company. They need some competition, because Nintendo's not even trying to make high-end hardware anymore. And then Microsoft comes out.
And then Microsoft dropped the big old VCR, like bang,
right,
with the Duke on it.
Right, and then they had Peter Moore, who was from Sega over there, right? And then they had Halo at that time, and I was like in college at that time in dorms, and I just remember all the LAN parties from Halo, and these are guys that I still know today. We used to run the cords through the hallways, because we had to go by the long patch cables.
Can you imagine that today you can still do that? With the OG, the 360, the One, and the X, you can still do that today.
I didn't even know that. But here's the thing.
Insane. Continue.
Here's the thing. Like, we used to have to sneak and do that when the RA was in class.
Of course, because you're stealing bandwidth.
Right? So you can't. Plus, they were like, it's a hazard. You can't have wires running through the hall.
Running all over the place.
He was a hater. But the point is, like, those were the times.
Y'all probably just didn't let him play. That's why.
But they those days and then we all know, you know, the 360 days where franchises can you imagine? And this is another thing I want to point out. The first Mass Effect was an exclusive.
Yeah,
right.
De facto, yeah.
Right, and you know, we got Gears of War in that generation. We got Dead Rising in the 360 generation, and I know a lot of people say like, oh, exclusives don't matter, but I think everyone that has a love for Xbox is from the days when they were delivering these quality exclusives, and this is why, you know, I'm so like big on Xbox now, because it seems like they're going to get back to that. We know it takes time, but I just think we're getting ready to see something that we've kind of never seen before in the terms of first party output, like from anyone. Like right now, the investment that they've made, because you don't spend, it's not just $7 billion, because they also had to buy Obsidian and Ninja Theory and Compulsion and In Exile and all of those other ones they had to buy. They didn't buy those not to put out you know, big games. So I think we're gonna get that again, and it feels like we're in this moment now of it's like a lot of setup, and you kind of feel like you're on this journey with them.
We're just waiting every day.
Right? I mean, they still have to deliver, right? Like let's be clear, but like it, like I just think that they have pushed the gaming industry forward maybe drag them kicking and screaming, right?
And they keep doing it. They don't get the respect they deserve, but they keep doing it. Yes,
right.
indeed.
You like your trophies now is because Xbox gave you achievements.
That's right.
You,
Yeah.
you
In a
got
few
that.
years, you won't even notice the game save problem on PlayStation, and that will be because of Xbox. They are kicking and screaming into the future.
I have two Xboxes. I have one in the living room, one in the bedroom. Last night I was playing in the bedroom, video games, and then this morning, like it's super early and I'm making too much noise. So I'm like, okay, I got to go to the living room. I go in the living room, pick up in seconds exactly where I left off at. It's not, I don't even think about it, right? So you have your trophies. It's because of achievements. You have you have this game save thing, which is becoming standardized. That's because of Xbox, right? Just the whole idea of friends lists and things like that.
Party chats and all of that. Yes, all of that
things, and then we're gonna see something new. Everybody's like, oh, I don't like renting games. I don't like renting games. Subscription services are gonna be the standard, and who sort of normalized that, because I know that PlayStation Now was there first, but it's not in the same way.
They didn't put as much effort into it as they and that makes sense, because they're not really infrastructure based. So even if they go there, they think of it not with that infrastructure mindset. It takes a Microsoft kind of a company, which is all about the infrastructure, to set it up the way it needs to be set up. So no, I completely agree with you.
Hey, Cyber, thanks. I know you got to run, but thanks for checking us out.
Thank you for coming. Yeah, appreciate you, man.
So, but so all these things that people, like, they sort of gnash their teeth at when they hear it at first, right? Hard drives in the consoles, right?
In the consoles, unheard of,
right? All these things, they like, because it's new and because
that is also a legacy that Sega started, isn't it? With the Ethernet, and so there really is a through line between those two. It is amazing. It really
100%. And that's the thing. Like, I feel like because as human beings we're like averse to change. When we see these new things and shifts in the industry, then when they first come out, we're like, no, I don't like that. You're putting games on PC and console. I don't like that. And then it becomes the standard, and you realize
it becomes mainstay. People move on to something else,
because a game that may have not sold well on console ends up getting a sequel because the PC market picked it up. It's just it's all these things, seamless play between, like, getting rid of the idea of generations and things like that. I'm sorry, you can call it old games, whatever you want, but like all those things, how many times do we have to see Sony make fun of or pretend they're opposed to a thing that Xbox does, and then turn around and do the same thing 2 minutes later
and do it too? Yes. See, and I don't have a problem with Sony doing that. My problem is, how is this thing so easily, blatantly, visibly seen, and y'all just keep falling for it? It's ridiculous. Like,
because
stop worrying.
It's about change, right? People always try to kill the messenger, right? And so Xbox is kind of, or Microsoft in general, is pretty good at seeing the puck coming, like, or where it's going, and then they'll get there first. They'll iron these things out, because right now
somebody else will take it over.
So
indeed, man.
So indeed. That's what Xbox represents, like, to me.
No, I completely
it's
agree.
This, forward-leaning, future-thinking, industry-shifting thing, and look, Sony has that thing too. They brought, like, serious storytelling into gaming. Whereas you really didn't have the level of focus on story. And I'm not saying other games didn't have story.
If it was only Nintendo, it would be all gameplay all the time, because gameplay is king, right?
Right.
But Sony
definitely,
as it should be. But Sony definitely did add like story elements and elevated them to the level of gameplay when done correctly. So there's nothing taken away from Sony's contributions, for sure. 100%.
Right. And again, at all of these companies, they take whatever their sort of mission statement or core competencies are, and translate that into the gaming industry. Sony, being a movie studio, it's not just what they are. They're also consumer electronics, like TVs and things like that. But they took all of that and built it into the DNA of what Sony PlayStation
Sony
is and their games.
Yeah.
And Microsoft is a software and services company, and they have brought those ideas and things forward from the technology standpoint, pushing everybody forward. So, even with crossplay, right? Sony is kind of pushing back against it, as they should, because they're really the only ones with something to lose in the short term from it. I think in the long term, it helps everybody. But the idea.
I mean, if your hardware is the best place to play, then people will play there. There's no need to artificially gate it, right? Like I get the whole idea of business. I get that, but clearly the ball is past you at this point. You can't dictate anymore because it's now here to stay. So you've made great hardware. So why not just be confident in that great hardware?
Because it's the microtransactions, and they don't want people buying things where they can get it cheaper and then coming and using it on their platform. And if they lock you into their platform because you have to sort of play it there if you want to play with your other friends, which is what that's the whole thing. That's like the whole point. The Apple model. Then so they do have something to lose, but
that lasts only so long,
right?
Even the non-educated consumer eventually figures it out, and then they hold some animosity towards you for being that way. You know what I mean?
Do they ever?
Well, Apple is slowly getting there now. Like the sentiment is changing about them because of all of this stuff.
Yeah, but guess what?
It is changing.
I still need my text messages to show up blue. So
in blue,
so Apple can kind of get a free pass there. But so that's for me, right? Like I as a technology guy, Xbox is kind of.
I'm there with you, man. Right there with you. All your points, 100%. You were talking about your old game that you played from one place to another. I want to finish Psychonauts.
Oh yeah.
Play Psychonauts before Psychonauts 2, because I don't know if you saw that Double Fine does these dev diaries from time to time, and the latest one showed a bunch of real footage and all this stuff. Really cool stuff. Got me excited to play Psychonauts 2. I load up Psychonauts on the Xbox, and I had to save from like old 360 days, and I'm just right where I'm just mind blown. Love that. I love that. I'd never have to think about it. Oh, where is it? Where's this? Where's that? What was it? There was a game that came out on PS4 that's now translating to PS5 very recently, and I was excited to play it. But now my first thought was, oh, now I got to go to that PS4 and make sure I've uploaded the save so that when I go to PS5, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the stuff that needs to go away. Lucky for me, I still have the PS4. Some people sold their PS4 before the 5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I really do appreciate their contributions. For me, how Xbox so I moved to the States in 2011 and 2001. Right. And during that time, that was right on the cusp of the Dreamcast going down, right during that time frame. Yes. Long story short, I ended up I took an entry-level position, entry-level position at EB Games, Electronics Boutique at the time, just so I could play Halo. I didn't have the money at the time because I had just moved here, right? And I'm like, start a job, figure it out. But games, I love games. So ultimately, I ended up working at Electronics Boutique for like 3-4 years, only for the purpose of getting some discounts and being able to play games. Why? Because I walked by the store once and saw like a bunch of people in Warthog together. And I'd never seen that before, like a bunch of different controllers. They're all set up differently, and they're all in the same Warthog, and they're all one's shooting, one's in the back, one's in the side. I'm just like, yo, I am sold.
Yeah.
And the Halo got me there, and ever since that time, I've just been all in. I play all of them. I love all of them. I have consoles all over the place. I also, I think, have almost every PlayStation as well. But it's just being the tech-minded guy that I am, I've always loved the way that Microsoft, like you said, likes to push the envelope, likes to push technology forward to make the games just exude a different kind of sense of them. If you leave it to Nintendo, they will make the same hardware shine in new ways forever. And that's great.
And they'll sell you cardboard. So this is another thing, like that. you know, I keep hearing this argument about like, either old games or how long are you going to have to wait for E3 and all these things with Xbox. But the thing is, I'm old enough to remember the launch of the 360 and the PS3.
Mm-hmm.
And if you remember that generation, the 360 came in hot, right? They were
real hot.
they were a year early, and they had all that time to build up, and they had
so hot it was red ringing on you.
right. And then you look at the Xbox One generation, Xbox One and PS4 generation, and they continued that trend of like heavy hitter exclusives in the first 2 years. The Xbox One had the better games. They had the better games, and Sony, what they were doing was they built off the goodwill of Last of Us, and they took about
they were all about
years.
The indies at the beginning.
Right. Yeah. They took about 2 years to get going because the kind of quality of what they call,
Sony games take time.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So they have these long development cycles, big budgets, but they take time to make. And people say that, Xbox doesn't have that caliber of games. Well, it takes time, right? So we know it takes time to do that. And we know that they've made the investment in these companies, right? Yeah. So in order to do that, so it's kind of like, you go to school and then you forgot your homework. And so now you're walking back home to get your homework, but the whole way there, they're like, did you get your homework yet? Yeah. I'm not at the house yet now. Did you get your homework yet? I'm not at the house. I'm going to get my homework.
But you know what?
Right?
Those who make that argument seems to be a little disingenuous. It seems like they're just trying to find talking points to basically bash the console that they may not like or the platform they may not like. Anyone like yourself, anyone who genuinely enjoyed games and plays them and all that, tend to understand that, right? If you hear Ragnarok is coming this year, any normal gamer will know it's because it's off of the old engine rather than creating something new. Because games take time. The first one took almost 6 years with iteration and iteration and iteration, and then they say the next one's coming out in 2 years. You're like, But those who are like, well, where's the games? There are no games. They're not busy looking, because if you are, you'd be so busy playing what's on there right now. There's no time to say stuff like that. There's a lot of games on there. Now, if they mean first party, we all know it takes time. This constant argument about it is just, to me, when I hear that stuff come up, I look at who is bringing it up, because it tends to be those who are not coming to that argument.
It's the avatar people,
in a genuine place.
They got some sort of Sony IP as their avatar.
It's always like that. And that's unfortunate, because there are valid arguments to be made. There are valid debates to be had. That's not one of them. And when we devolve into that, then we give them a pass on the important stuff that we do want action and traction on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Let them finish their game. When they're done, they'll release it. What, you think they don't want to make you pay for games and bring it out there and let people like it? Obviously they do, but they don't. Like the Fallout 76 developer doesn't want to release Starfield until it's perfect, because the last time they released Fallout 76, they're still getting it on the butt for that. Like today, you know what I mean? Like, just let it go.
I think so. Okay, Starfield for a second, right? Like the hype around this game, it worries me.
Unnecessary,
right?
Unnatural,
and it's for the same, and it's different reasons, but it's the same sort of core principle. That it bothers me what people talk about what Halo needs to be. And it is kind of like, well, you don't know what this game is. People are literally like fighting over a game that they've never seen an official frame from, right? And they're like, well, it's coming this year. Well, it's coming cross-platform, or they need to release it cross-platform, or it's going to be a timed exclusive. Or
speaking of that, it's good that you bring this up. Let's transition to that, okay? Let's transition to that, because I wanted to have this conversation, and you've brought it up because of Halo, and I'm like, the last time we spoke about Halo, you had talk, you really had thoughts. So let's speak about Halo Infinite. Like it's been continue. You've been talking about how the perception of what Halo needs to be, when it should be released, how it should be released, what the Metacritic score should be, and if any of these things fall through the cracks, it's like it spells disaster for the entire platform. Please go.
And well, that's a whole other thing, and I feel like it's a lot of people that are sort of like stabbing a hole in the basketball and telling you to dribble, and if you can't dribble, then you suck at basketball.
Then it's over.
Right? Right. And a lot of that is, I feel like we're so caught up on these accolades and sort of Excel sheet or fucking bullet points that we don't really care about what the game itself is. And my only argument is that as an OG 20-year Halo stan, I'll call myself a Halo stan.
As am I.
Do you think that I am making any excuses for the game, or I am letting it or lowering my expectations or any of that because I say I don't care about the Metacritic score? You don't know me, right? But you also probably have not paid attention, right? Yeah. Halo fans, maybe next to Gears fans, are some of the most critical people, to the point where 343 and the Coalition kind of live in fear of those fans. So
they added a grappling hook.
Right.
Lord, you have to end. Yeah.
They argued about adding run, like running.
Yes, right? There are some people today that hate that feature. I'm like, what's wrong with you people?
Right, but this is the thing. People get like the Halo audience and the Gears audience want Gears to stay exactly what it is.
What it was,
right? But in order for it to grow, it needs to reinvent itself. Both of those franchises.
Time has changed.
Yes.
The time where it existed, where it used to be tip of the spear and everybody, like, it was the only conversation, that was a long time ago. And now the market is so saturated with so much of this type of game. How do you expect them to keep giving you the same iteration? And then you go, that's what we want. And when they do that, they give you Halo Gears and Halo Forza Gears. What do you say? Oh, Halo Forza Gears. So let them switch it up.
Yeah, but I still feel like Forza kind of reinvented itself with the Horizon series, right? Like it's like this open world racing game. So they did something different. And when I say reinvent yourself, it's not unsimilar to what Resident Evil did by switching to first person, right? Yeah, it's not unsimilar to the way Mario introduces, like is reintroduced, like getting new hats in Odyssey and things like that. Like it's not unsimilar to the perspective shift and hard focus on story for God of War.
But you know what? With that in mind, Halo has reinvented itself pretty well, though. The way the different powers that they add. Halo 5 has some really interesting, like, you can break through walls, and the way the way the levels laid out, it's more vertical. You can break through hidden spaces,
grabbing on edges, and things like that.
It was very, very cool.
No, I love Halo 5. And I think that in hindsight, people say the story was terrible. But I think if they had followed up in 2017 or 2018 on that same story,
it would have been better.
We wouldn't be in the situation we're in now, and people would have
let it fester for too long. You're absolutely right.
I think they put too much effort into the Master Chief Collection. That's it seems like that's what all their focus was on. Fixing that. And even that, it's because they had to fix all. And this is not anything against Bungie. It was just built for different architecture.
Real quick on that Master Chief Collection. Real quick on that Master Chief Collection. People don't seem to understand the Herculean, like, monstrous effort that was. People don't get that. They literally slapped together netcode from so many games and wanted them to seamlessly talk. Like, people still have problems getting one game, like what is it called? Knockout City just came out. Wanted to try it out yesterday. Could not even barely get in there. The dodgeball would go here, I'd fall off of a cliff. Why? Because the game just started and a bunch of people are online. Netcode is all over the place. These people were trying to put together ancient netcode from so many games and make them fit into this one beautiful, streamlined. It's just, I don't understand why people have this.
As technologists, we may understand that, but I understand as a consumer, that should be transparent to them.
Yeah.
So I understand it was a Herculean task, right? But like, the point is, why they maybe then their priorities.
It probably would have been easier for them to just rip all the netcode out and then created a new one where they would just have one good new level, one good new multiplayer mode with all the old campaigns. That would have been easier.
Sure, but what I'm saying is like it's everything's about priorities, right? And I think that for a studio that is trying to get out of the shadow of Bungie, shifting all your focus to a collection of games that is just Bungie stuff does not seem the right thing to do for Mindshare.
Bad move,
right? I don't think that was a good strategic move for them. But
maybe maybe Microsoft should have spoken with Bungie and had Bungie like paid them and had them do this so they can have 343 just move forward with Infinite. It should not have been done by 343. I don't think their main team should have spent so much time and effort on this as they have, and that's hindsight 2020 and all that. You're right.
But again, I think the conversation, I feel like if we're being intellectually honest, right, and we really want to look at the world for what it is, right? They have a decision to make. Are they going to make the game for the hardcore Halo fans,
or for the future,
or are they going to make it for the new generation of gamers?
And they're trying to thread the needle on both, which might not work out for them.
You can't serve two masters, right?
It might not work out for them. No.
And here's the problem, and why I just feel like they're in this crazy position that has nothing to do with the game itself, is that in order to grow the franchise, in order to reintroduce it, they have to reinvent themselves. If they do that, the hardcore Halo audience is going to kill them for it. And the problem with that is a lot of what people play is driven by what's going on? Hustle and motivate. So a lot of people's play decision, and when games go viral and things like that and people start streaming them, a lot of that comes from the chatter from the vocal minority, right? If they do what they need to do, which is reinvent it to be a shooter of today,
they'll lose that vocal minority.
Those people are going to go crazy about it. Now, if conversely they're making this game for them, right, for the hardcore Halo audience, they will love it, right? And there will be fights online, but all of the fucking naysayers and boo-hooers are now going to say this is just more of the same.
But remember, the Halo audience the Halo audience that used to make Halo bigger than anything else, that audience has shrunken. Right, there's a whole new generation of folks that are in here,
but
so you can't make it for the OG Halo audience, because if you do, even if we all love it, it will not reach the heights you need it to reach. It needs to reach that new audience, and you can't do that with old formula. So they're stuck in a hard place.
It's either going to get shouted down by them or shouted down by the people.
So where do you think they should go? Because I think they should. Honestly, as difficult as it may sound for me to say it or hear it, and I'm sure you're not going to agree with it either, I think they should make the Halo game they want to make. It will probably appease the old school lovers, and then put it out. It will come, it will go. Halo will drop from the zeitgeist from that high clip that it used to be, but that's fine. The artists of the past don't have to still be the artists of today. We're in the new school, and they are not done with franchises. They have so many new teams now, doing so many new things now. Let Halo be what Halo was. You cannot keep bringing the thing. Batman can be Batman since the 50s. Eventually, Batman has to move on. We have to get Nightwing in here or something else.
But here's the thing: Nightwing's not bigger than Batman, and Batman's the biggest superhero.
Well, no, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying, but here's the thing: I'm gonna quote a line from Jay-Z. Please. People want my old hits, buy my old albums, right?
Yes.
And I think that, and to quote another terrible set of movies, let the past die, kill it if you have to.
Kill it
right?
if you have to. Terrible set of movies. You're triggering people. Stop
it. They need, by the way, you think the console war is Twitter is bad?
Oh, yeah.
Say something about Star Wars Twitter. Right? Wow.
Forget about
it. But my point is, I think that they should not be beholden to me, the hardcore Halo fan. Because people don't really know what they want. You have to tell it to them. You have to show it to them for them to get it. Right. Yeah. So I think that they shouldn't pay attention to what the hardcore Halo fans want. They should make something that honors the legacy of Halo, but also takes it into a completely new direction, right? And I don't mean half-heartedly do it like they did with the multiplayer of Halo 4.
You mean third person?
Make it like, no,
camera, Gears of War, boy. That's what you mean.
Yeah, no, they don't. Yeah. I mean,
and then like, Halo and Cortana, and
I think I think there should be spin-offs in the universe. That's a separate argument. And they should be in different genres. They don't need to be first-person games.
They used to do that. ODST was great. They used to do that.
But that was still kind of another Halo. That was still
it was soft. It was a soft transition, but it could have gone further, and it should have gone further.
So, but again, so I'm saying all this to say that I think Halo they shouldn't be too worried about us if they want to, shift to this open world model where it's kind of like, really, it reminds me, honestly, which is why I'm excited about it. It reminds me of, it's like they're bringing in elements of Zelda, where you have an open map, and you have to get a new power up, like the grappling hook or whatever else you get, and that will allow you to access a new part of the map. Right?
That's almost Metroidvania-esque. Yeah.
Yeah. And again, if you introduce that to Halo, and again, we talked about this the other week. Your story campaign is what Master Chief. I think multiplayer should be with the Spartan that you design, and then those sort of raid style missions can be ongoing, and you have a story going on in the background, and then every 6 months or a year you release a new story episode. So what they can bring to this sort of big open online shooter arena, I think, is story, because no one really focuses on story. Destiny, there's lore in the background, but it's not like story. Yeah. So I think
they haven't focused it in the pinnacle of, hey, it's about the story. The gameplay influences the story. That's more of a Sony move when they do that. They have the Microsoft has not. There has been story. There is story. It's just it needs to be at that. It needs to be taken at that priority level.
I think
really
so. What an analogy I can give is, if they can find a way. I said Zelda, but another thing they can meld in for the multiplayer aspect of it is if they could do something like, something analogous to what World of Warcraft does. Right? It's kind of like you're bringing in these story events that we're all sharing in this event, and we all sort of go through it. If they can find a way to sort of what we call strange alchemy, bring all these elements in, I think it can work. But again, I still question the initial decision. If you are trying to get out under Bungie's shadow, why would you make the art style reminiscent of Combat Evolved?
Well, that's the thing. Right? I don't think they were trying to get out of Bungie's shadow. I think they were just trying to appease the masters, and that's a problem. Yes, that's a problem.
That's a problem. So again, I am looking for a great Halo game. If they make it a new experience, I will adapt. But
much like the Coalition, right? They must first make their game that people can finally go, all right, this is good enough, and then they can diversify, like Gears 5. Folks were like, okay, first Gears 4, which I think is criminally underrated. The story was safe, but the game, they were there to show you that, hey, we're the Coalition. We can actually make a good Gears game, and they did, right? And then Gears 5, they took it a step further, but many think not far enough. but at least it was a decent game. Now, what are they doing? They're making a different IP.
That's where they need but that seems like a test bed just to try stuff for
sure, but still, at the end of the day, stop being shackled by one franchise, because you never know. That thing's going to come out. It could be good, and then here we go. We have more things for you guys to do. I hate the idea of, if you're here, you're making Gears. If you're here, you're making Halo. Let the creatives be creative a bit.
Even in that, right? There's 23 studios. It's kind of like, if you don't want to work on Halo, go
there's other places
to one of the positions in the company. You're changing, you're changing teams. So there's
changing teams on the same. Yes,
for them
absolutely
to do
right.
that. It's like,
and that's where Microsoft's new edition makes them shine, because they have that ability now. Yeah, you're right.
And so, but ultimately, like, I want 343 to become the coalition, because everyone knows, like Epic made the first Gears, right? And the coalition took it over when Microsoft got the IP from them, and they have made it their own. And no one says that coalition isn't living up to the Cliffy B days. Right? Everyone knows that they are, even if they say Gears needs a break, they know that Gears is in good hands with the coalition, and that's what I want to see for
Halo as well. Sure, I completely agree.
But so all of that, sales don't matter to me. Metascore doesn't matter, but that does not mean I am lowering expectations. I just think that the game itself is in this horrible position where no matter what it does, it is the conversation around it is going to be bad. Because think about this, and I want you to really think about this. We're gamers, right? You're a gamer, right? Who do you know that watched what 343 unveiled and had any problems with the gameplay?
Yeah, I had no issues with the gameplay.
But just anybody, just point, even the haters who said anything. What they talked about was pop-in textures, graphics, lighting,
and even that. I saw it, but I'm the minority that went, I understand the game's not out yet. I will say I completely agree that it was a mistake. It would have been a mistake to release it without all of its bells and whistles. They were talking about, we'll put the patch for ray tracing and stuff later. That would have been a mistake. But had they released that game looking and playing the way it was, without any, in a vacuum, people would have enjoyed the hell out of that game. The gameplay looked solid.
But furthermore, I think that, I know when I watched that trailer and I saw the pop in of the hills and the grass physics, and when I saw the movement of the face, the face animations for your partner, or whatever, and Atriox, or that's not Atriox, that's somebody else.
No, that's Atriox's right hand. That's his right hand.
Right.
Yes.
But my point is, when I saw that, I was like, oh, people are gonna have.
That's right.
That's all I was thinking during the whole thing. It wasn't
now, the problem with that, though.
I was like,
I will devil advocate a little bit, because the problem with that, though, is some of that, console wars aside, Sony warriors aside, some of that is a problem of their own making. I still contend that, because you walk out with the most powerful console in the world, his face is everywhere. If you prime the pump that way, folks are ready to see it, and then you
and the funny thing is,
if you know you ain't got it like that, just put it out and don't be all ba with the mouth.
They had a lot of goodwill, because I even, like, at the time before the showing, they just put out the theme and like a wallpaper, and people went crazy. Right?
Remember back in the day, I think Halo 3, remember back in the day where they released this stop animation, like scene where everything was stopped and the video was coming in and you could see the war happening? Did you ever see that? Like, it was a commercial for Halo 3. The most amazing ad for Halo that has to this day been released, in my opinion. And it had nothing to do with gameplay, had nothing to do with anything. They could have done something like that to give you the feels and all that without necessarily showing you the game. They could have done that.
So there are criticisms. I just think that whatever Halo does is sort of definitive of what the platform is. No, I think there are other games that will be the graphical showcase, and I think there are other games that maybe can take the mantle of Halo You know,
I think so
if
too.
if Halo does, you can't. We're in a different world, and you can't like Halo is not going to be what it was in the Halo 3 days. That's not me making an excuse. That's not me
Just a sign of
letting
the
them off the
times.
hook. That's just what Halo is, right?
Yep.
So it's Halo's. You can't say if Halo does not give me back my youth and my zeal and excitement that I had when I was 20 years old.
Yeah. Then all of a sudden it's dead. The platform is
young,
over.
dumb, and full of cum. That's if Halo doesn't do that for me again, doesn't bring back my virality, then it can't do that.
You can't
right?
do that.
You're
It's
40.
impossible. You know,
You're 40 years old, right? It's not going to make you feel that way. Right? So let's just understand that and what you want.
But see, there are new studios, new ideas. Maybe something new will.
No game is going to do that for you. What Halo did again. It's not going to happen. Right. So
your son will enjoy their Roblox and their Fortnites, and they'll say the same thing about that in 40 years from now.
God of War 2018 didn't do for you what Halo did for you. Right.
Some people did. No. Some people would argue with that. And I could see that argument because God of War 2018 was revolutionary.
It was. That's not what I'm arguing though. What I'm saying is it's still not what Halo 3 was. Right. It's not. Yes. Right. And so my point is, I don't think anything and people keep even the whole Bungie reference. Bungie has not lived up to what they've done. With the original
even
Halo
they
trilogy.
can't make another Halo. I don't think they could.
Right?
And I don't think they want to try because it will even if they tried, it wouldn't be they're back now. It'll be we thought you were better than this. And this
right. So the point is Halo. I need Halo to be great. I don't need it to win Game of the Year. I need it to be a great Halo game, and I need 343 to put their stamp on this thing, so to where we say
this is us.
This is us, and this is what you get, and I need that level of confidence. That is what I am looking for in that game. And
100%.
Again, if no one complained about the gameplay of what they saw in that demo, and it's just an issue of fixing the graphics, why is anybody worried?
Yeah.
Right? Why are you worried if you looked like it seemed like everybody was happy with the gameplay?
Yeah.
If they fix the graphics, and 343, say what you want about them, they know what they're doing in terms of in the graphics department. Look at their work in Halo 3 and Halo 4 and Halo 5. And just the upgrades they did, the upgrades they did to the Master Chief Collection.
Yep.
Right?
Stunners.
So let's not pretend that they don't know what they're doing in the graphics department. So I trust them in the graphics department.
Again, that's a disingenuous argument. You know, the people that are complaining like that, all those complaints, the people that keep complaining like that, they're just trying to find bullets for the chamber of the console war. I just think they need to find more accurate bullets because this is some BS a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So
now let's get away from the Halo talk for a little bit, unless anybody has anything they want to bring up. Starfield, right?
Please, yes.
I'm getting all of these Cyberpunk 2077 vibes, where it's like in a different way than Halo. But it's the same spirit because we tend to hype these things up and build them up in our heads. And then the companies tend to feed off of that because they're looking at this hype. You know, I saw this clip of Todd Howard laughing about it. It's like a lot of hype for something that nobody's seen yet, right?
Yeah. It's like what's the other game? What's that other game? There's two games, Starfield and come on. They've been killing grub about it left and right.
Oh, no. Elden Ring.
Two things. Even Elden Ring has even a little bit more visuals that people have seen. Starfield is just the logo. But still, somehow, people have built up this narrative that it's like the second coming of gaming gods.
Well, but you know why that is, right? I think it is because the Sony guys are used to winning everything, right?
Sure. And now it looks like they might not win this one.
They might not win this one, right? And then the Xbox guys are so starved for a AAA exclusive that they have to put all this like expectation on Starfield. But again, None of that has anything to do with the game itself. And that's my problem with all of these discussions. Whether we're talking about Halo, whether we're talking about Starfield, how about we look at the goddamn game when it comes out and judge the game
and judge it based on its merits. That's right. Yes.
Forget about what it means, what it represents, what it's going to be at L if this or if this then that, right?
Like that's a dumb childish game that people just need to stop playing. Seriously.
Right. Just if you play the game and it's trash, then it's trash.
Then it's trash. You can say so, but you haven't seen it. No one's seen it.
Right.
So nobody can say it's trash. Nobody can.
And I see this. I see this coming over from the sort of movie industry where people talk about, Star Wars and Marvel and all these things, and they argue about this stuff that they have not seen yet. Right. And all of that is weird to me. Right. Like, I agree. So it's the same thing. Like people get mad when they see like the race change of a character, right? Now, if the movie is trash and all they have is a race change, sure, tear it apart. But if you have not seen that movie yet, you don't know what it is.
You don't know the reason for it. You don't know why. Yeah.
Unless, and again, I'm not happy about this whole,
Don't start the Black Kal-El stuff, please. Let's keep it moving.
Okay. My point is, I'm not happy.
I knew where you were going with that, my man.
I'm going to watch the story anyway, and then judge it. Any reservations I have, I check it at the door and say, okay, what do you have for me? I do it with movies. I think we should do it with games as well. Check your expectations at the door. Because you are not a goddamn director. You're not a screenwriter, right? Your job, if you're a content creator, is to like look at this thing and tell people your thoughts on it. If your thoughts revolve around external things from the game, I don't think you're doing your audience a service, right? Yeah. So
you're just stoking the fires. Come on,
right?
It's ridiculous.
Judge things for what they are, not for what narratives you put on. So all that being said. I don't know. I don't care about Starfield until
they show it. Until we see it. Yeah.
Am I intrigued because of who is making it? Am I intrigued because I got this crazy
pedigree, the historical? Yes.
There's a crazy itch for space operas because of Mass Effect and everything else is one of my sort of sci-fi's one of my favorite sci-fi and fantasy. Those are my favorite genres. Now I think I'm like slow-mo in this regard. I'm more of I like those kind of stories in a more linear fashion instead of just a sandbox.
Then the sandbox open world. Yeah.
We'll see what they do with the story.
Yeah.
But I'm interested, but I'm not hyped for it. And I don't care if it's an exclusive or not. I don't care if it's anything. I do. Let's be clear though. I think exclusives are good for the industry. I think they're good for platforms. So if it is good and it's exclusive to Xbox, I think that's a good thing because it says it'll just tell Sony like, hey, you're not the only.
It's time to step the game up. We're
right. And if Sony's stepping their game up with their games, we all
win. That's right.
Right.
That's right. So my only issue with Fallout-esque games is, what do they call it? The ludonarrative dissonance. Hey, your son is over there. He's going to die soon. You better go save him. But yeah, why don't you go over here and go collect these 15 rocks and then go do this and then go collect.
But that's what I mean.
That's what I hear you on that. It's like, oh, this is the narrative. This is amazing. Time bomb. It's about to blow. But why don't you go over there and go romance this dude and then go grab this thing from that rock over there?
No. But again, and you see, I think that is where Mass Effect, especially 1, but 2 also, where it excelled.
It excelled. That's right. No matter what you were doing, the goal was at hand. You could see it. It was there.
It was all tying into the larger narrative.
That's right. You couldn't stop a little bit and go play backgammon on the ship, and then
you didn't have time for that. And they made every mission important to the narrative and important. That's right. Yeah. And I feel a lot of time with these games, and I'm looking at you, Ubisoft or Ubisoft, whatever you're called. You just put a bunch of stuff in there to pad out full name?
The gameplay. Ubiquitous software. Ubiquitous.
Yeah, whatever.
That's what they're called. Ubiquitous software.
No, but again, they put these things in there to pad out the gameplay, and it's not needed, right? There's a lot of other stuff that I could be doing, and I don't want to play your game if I know it's just a bunch of stupid missions like that
on the map, over and over regurgitation with different skins. Yeah, basically.
Right. Like Resident Evil, like everything felt like I'm doing this for something, and it felt all the castles felt important. I mean, except for that one with the nasty dude who turned into a fish, but that felt like
I saw that. I saw with the bubbles in his neck. I'm just like, oh, get me out of here with this.
Yeah, I could have done. That's why I got a 9 instead of a 10. But the thing is,
understood.
A good 10 to 15 hour game, I'm completely cool with that. And and I pay $70 for it too. I said it right, like. That's worth my time. Come on now.
Don't put that monetary value into the universe.
It's worth it. The point is, like, if I think a 15-hour game is worth my time. I don't need to spend 100 hours in a game, and I don't want to.
The time does not equate the time spent should not equate the monetary value. It should be a different metric that determines that fact. I agree wholeheartedly with that sentiment. It shouldn't be like a minute to dollar ratio. Like, that's ridiculous. There should be different metrics that are used to tell the value of the dollar. Although I will say that those who have a problem with that idea of the dollar value ratio, it is more of a factor now because we do live in the world of the $75 game. So as ridiculous as much as I don't like having that conversation because it kind of it cheapens the art, I do recognize that conversation is more prevalent to be had these days because not everybody wants to be spending $75 per game. Like as I sit here, I have Ratchet and Clank in Ratchet and Clank is coming. I'm looking forward to it. We actually want to, before we go, I want to talk to you about Biomutant. I'm super excited about that. There are a few other games coming out, and if they're all $75 a clip, that's a conversation that's worthy of having because not everybody has those.
Is Biomutant $70?
No, it's not, but it's 60.
Okay.
But in a world where 70 is the standard, that conversation, as difficult, as ridiculous as it is,
you have to prove yourself before I'm spending $70 on you.
Exactly.
And I learned my lesson with Returnal, right?
That's right.
Will I pay $70 for God of War Ragnarok? Absolutely. Will I pay $70 for Horizon Forbidden West? Yes. That is.
So what you're saying is only repeat quantity. IPs, only known quantities can command the high price.
You've proved
new
yourself.
IPs should not.
You have proved yourself. Yeah, sure. I'm sorry.
I can see that.
You just got here. You can't get the CEO position, right? You didn't even work.
You just showed up. You want to sit in the big man chair. Like, calm down.
That's what I'm talking about.
You don't get the big piece of chicken. You just showed up, bro. You gotta work towards it.
You wasn't shooting. You wasn't shooting with Kobe in the gym. You know what I'm saying?
Well, but then again, I mean, Housemarque has put in their work, but still, it's a new IP.
They didn't put in $70 worth of work.
Yeah, apparently. That's true. It's a new IP.
Right?
A new IP.
So
okay. Let's move on to the games we're going to be excited for, because I kind of want to talk to you a little bit about a few games that came across my radar.
Talk to me about Biomutant for a second.
I'll start with that. So I was watching, and I don't know if he was in the chat maybe a little while ago, and he may have dropped out. I was watching Mav. Fun Speculation yesterday, 2 days ago. No, yesterday, and they were talking about it. And the game has been on my radar for a while. Do you know Biomutant? Have you seen?
Yes, I've seen a little bit of it. I'm sold on it. It's like.
And let me try and play a little bit of its B-roll. Now this is coming from the net, so if I get demonetized, I apologize.
I can't. Yes, it's a game. They're not gonna do anything.
Yeah. And that's why I'm doing it inside this frame rather than the whole thing.
Oh no. That doesn't matter. They'll still get you, but I don't think that. I don't think that.
So I can play it. I can do it.
We'll find out. When we did the Venom trailer the other day on the other show, they hit me and they just turned it back on.
Oh, okay.
They tried to give me a copyright strike, and then they.
Okay. Well, we'll be careful with this one.
Yeah.
But yeah, this game.
So I'm getting Breath of the Wild vibes.
This game is, dude. It is the best gameplay components from like almost every 90 plus meta game in the last 10 years, all smacked together. It is Breath of the Wild. It has like the gameplay, the actual the fighting mechanics screams like a lot of like the Soulsborne kind of style. It's got like it's got slow motion clip combat when you're fighting with your guns. It's got great like you can use different fighting mechanics based on like old actual martial arts standards. It is insane the level of detail. And I love the fur mechanic. When you see the fur, they've used this special technique on the fur that really makes it pop. Oh, and as you can see, every time they hit you with a good hit, it gets the pow and the chang. You know, I started.
I have that in the Everborn game. We do the
awesome.
comic book things when you kill an enemy.
That's right. I started like I've known of this game, and I might look into. After watching the Mavs show, I bought that thing. I bought it like immediately. It was bought. Like it is now downloaded, waiting to play. I am so looking for, and it's like 18, 19 hours. Like it's so good, like so much. And it's like, usually games like, and not to take anything away from the developers, but they come into a very key gameplay loop, and then they build all the things around that loop. It seems like these guys found like 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 loops, and they put it all in the same thing. And I'm just like, how can you guys make all this work? But it's open world. Wherever you see, you can go. The traversal is amazing. It's like every game has a mechanic, and they took all of that and put it all in one game. It is so interesting. Now, so I saw this and it totally I totally lost my mind, and I'm excited to play it. Did you hear a little bit of the drama that surrounded this whole thing?
Well, first of all, the reason, because I hadn't seen any of this, I knew about it and I heard everyone talking about it, so it was on my radar. But I was like, just watching them, their Twitter account over the last few days, I'm like, I'm buying this game.
I love the way that they handled themselves. They handled themselves like professionals. I love the way that the developers handled themselves. They came out and scolded everybody, like, "What's wrong with you people?" As they should have, which is very good.
And this is the problem. Like, there's this stigmatism on sort of game enthusiasts or whatever that we're all like man babies and big children. And then I see all of this stuff online, and it's like, that's why people fucking think that about us.
That way. That's right. That's exactly why.
You motherfuckers are real children.
Yeah. Like, because let me tell you, look,
I
don't mind. Act your age, man. I see your avatar. You ain't a kid. Look, I don't mind the smoke. I enjoy it. I don't necessarily participate in it, but I enjoy the back and forth. I like that.
Yeah, but when we get to
the thing that irks me with the back and forth is, if you're gonna have bullets in your chamber, make those bullets be factual bullets. Don't come at me with BS because it serves the narrative, because that's not where it's at.
I think
that's not where we need to be.
It's when we're at the stage that you are attacking people, and then even further, you're attacking the developers. Like Microsoft paid you off, or you're lazy.
Did you see that?
Or you know what I'm saying? Like,
but did you see that? Did you see that tweet? There was a tweet that claims that Microsoft, and it got so much traction, that Microsoft paid off the developer to make sure that PlayStation's version was only 1080p 60, whereas Xbox's version is 4K 60. And I'm like, you people have holes in your head if you think that's remotely possibly true. Like, so
but let's be
real
clear,
quick on that.
But I just want to be fair on that. There were a lot of people looking at that Capcom contract from Sony and accusing Sony of that on the Xbox side. So the Sony fans they don't have a monopoly on stupid.
Sure, on stupid, of course not, 100%. But let's be clear about this whole situation. So for those that didn't hear, the Xbox version will be native rendered at 4K 60. Whereas the PlayStation version will be 1080p 60 upscaled, and people are losing their mind.
You know what's going to happen, though, right? Like, first of all, no one had a problem with that with Returnal, right? Because it was an exclusive. And now
a bunch of the PlayStation stands are already doing that. Yes,
right. So now you do have a problem with it because you see that this is ammo that I'm losing.
J-Dub is online right now, like losing his mind because he sent an email directly, a tweet to the director to the dev saying, new game. I guess I'm moving on. I'm like, Didn't he? There's a tweet out there of him like praising Returnal for the exact same thing.
Yeah, but J Dub's a comedian, man. Like that's
sure.
I think that's a first of all, I think J Dub is actually an Xbox fan. Like
he's purposely doing these things. You know? But let me say this, okay? I don't mind the bullets for the war, but make sure they're valid bullets. This is a non-issue.
No, but
this specifically is a non-issue. Yes, Xbox has 4K 60. Yes, PlayStation is pre-rendered, is upscaled, but that's not because of the capabilities of the hardware. Mass Effect Legendary Edition. Xbox can go to 120 hertz. PlayStation could only stay at 60. You think that's because of the hardware capability? Of course not. It's because of the way that the old back compat system works for the various new generations. But Microsoft handles their hardware distribution differently than PlayStation does, and you can tell that because when they both have new games, the comparisons, although they are different, they're much closer. This one does this better, that one does that better, but they're not like woefully separate. This stuff only pops up when we're talking PS4 games that are played on PS5 or Xbox One games that are played on the series consoles, because clearly Microsoft has a better way of handling the Gen 9 aware games. The games know they're old games, but Microsoft has the more ability to give more of the new resources to those old games. By the nature of the tools that PlayStation has, that's not the same. It requires more work on the developer's part to do that. And why would they do that when they're probably just going to release a next gen patch somewhere down the line anyway, and then get you your 4K native rendering? You know, I don't know why. And you know me, I play mainly on Xbox. You know, I'm a primarily an Xbox gamer. This is not a fight you want to have with the PlayStation. It's just the method in which the last gen is interpreted. That's it.
You're gonna get to Digital Foundry, and then there are gonna be some scenes where the Xbox stutters in frame rate, and PlayStation's gonna be a
rendering 4K native,
and the PlayStation's gonna be a lock 60, and everybody's gonna now change the whole conversation.
Exactly. Like, this is my problem. If you're gonna do battle, use factual information. I'm the tech guy. I enjoy. You want to tell me this is better than that? If it's fact, it's fact. That's it. But don't sit there and use these mushy middles to try and win and score points when clearly this is a non-issue. It's a non-issue. You know. Now, if they both come out with next gen patches, right? They both come out with next gen patches, and let's be clear, even when they come out with next gen patches, this will not be a next gen game. This was not designed for next gen. It was designed for previous gen. The best they can do is give you like the visuals that you might think are. If it was actually a next gen game, it would have been designed with SSDs in mind. This was not done. This was not designed that way. The AI would be different because they have a higher CPU to work with. Clearly, that's not the case here. You know what I mean? So even when a next gen patch applies, this is still kind of, and all the games that have that are still kind of half next gen, really, right? So all of this is just it's just a non-issue. It really just is. It's a non-issue, you know. So I don't know, but in general, I am super excited for this game. I'm excited to play it. As soon as like I've been chomping at the bit for all of the great videos that are coming out. The developers are doing a lot of good promotion around it. So have you? So are you planning on playing it or?
No. This comes out on Friday, right?
Yeah. This is my next game that I'm all in.
I'm buying this. They just have to hope that I finish Resident Evil 7 before it comes out.
But I'm all in. So there's this one.
This is what I will be playing until Ratchet comes out.
Until Ratchet and Clank. Okay. And then there's one other game that I don't have the visual for, but I want to put on your radar. Have you heard of Rift Breaker?
I have not heard of Rift Breaker.
It is an indie type title, and maybe I can Google it real quick and see if I can show you. It is an indie type title that Microsoft has gotten an exclusivity for short. I'm not sure how long, but it's an indie title that's right now going to be an Xbox exclusive. The thing that I'm completely loving about it is so beautiful, like so beautiful.
What is it called?
Rift Breaker.
Rift Breaker. Okay, I'm gonna check.
Oh, it is gorgeous. Like unusually good looking. And it's going to be day one in Game Pass. It's
when does it come out?
Oh, I honestly don't. Let me show you some of this gameplay footage here. I did not check that. It's supposed to be very soon.
Oh, this okay. So look, here's the thing. I have seen this, but I thought it was just at a quick glance. Yeah. But it's not that.
It's not an RTS.
Like this reminds me of something that I'm looking forward to, which I downloaded last night. The Descent. We got a release date, right?
Yes, exactly. That's another one of those. Yes,
already downloaded. I've been anticipating this game forever. I am all in on the Ascent, and I tweeted a while ago. It looks like it's going to be a better Cyberpunk than Cyberpunk.
Yes, it is. It looks that way.
Right?
Yes, it is. Yes,
right.
Yes. And this game has the same isometric view. It has, as you can see, it has some RTS components to it, but it's also a twin stick shooter. And the graphics and the way, like you're talking about a game showcase, this will showcase that hardware. It is when the particle effects, when they're shooting their lasers and stuff, it's so beautiful. Like, and I'm excited. Like, I think NVIDIA started like using this as a bit of their marketing. Hey, come check out this game, and they're gonna do some special things on PC with it. This was not on my radar, but now it totally is. I can't wait to play this. And I'm not usually an isometric kind of guy. I appreciate the Diablos. I've played them. I usually like getting right close into the action, but the way this game looks and the way it plays and all the stuff that the developers have talked about has got me very excited to try it out.
But let me ask you a question. Another one is the Gunk. When are we getting it? Are we still getting that this year?
I hope so, because that is one of my favorite developers. I've played almost every game they've made. What's the name of the series they used to do? The robots. Damn it! And every time they make a new version, it's a different genre, but in the same Steam World games.
Oh, okay.
Every time they make a new one, it's a different genre. One of them, it's a digging game. Another one, it's RTS. But it's all in the same world, and they are like small, contained, very fun games. I played a bunch of them on the Switch, and now they're doing the Gunk, and it seems like it's a departure for them, and the graphics even look very different, very, very special. Like they're growing there. It came out, it made a big splash, and then I haven't heard from it since. So I'm super excited.
Like I think 9 months ago was the last time we kind of have seen it, and then we've heard nothing. So like what?
Yeah.
I don't know where that. I don't know what's going on with that game. And then Scorn, which I kind of feel like I don't know why, but I relate Scorn to Returnal, and it's kind of that Geiger style art style. That's sort of alien.
Sure, yeah. Scorn showed first, but Returnal kind of came out first with that same kind of aesthetic.
And
although
I feel like
Scorn kind of looks like it's got a bit more phallical leanings.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's got some phallical. Their bullets are bones and teeth. It's like, ooh.
Yeah.
It's a little something,
I'm not sure about that one.
And the fighting is slow, methodical, and we'll see.
So yeah, but I'm gonna check out Scorn, but like really for me, it's all about the Ascent. It's all about Gunk. It's all about 12 minutes. It's all about Tunic. Those are the ones that like.
Super excited.
They were all on the list of the 31 exclusives that were coming this year, along with Crossfire X and Exomecha. Yep. But guess what?
And so far, they haven't said that they've changed yet.
All we got is the median. So that means that in the next 6 months, we're supposed to be getting all of those games. And I think all of those, this is why I was always iffy on whether Starfield was going to come out this year. Because I think, do you want to release Starfield so close to Halo? Because I'm telling you right now.
So I hear you on that, but the counter narrative to that is a question for PlayStation. If you are a platform that basically lives and dies based on people playing your games, then that's a question for you. You don't want to cannibalize your own sales. But if you're the Netflix of games, you can drop multiple genres and multiple times at the same time because you're there to feed the beast, which is the library. So when it comes to that, they can do that.
I hear you, but you also have to ramp up mind share. And so it's like you use that, and then as soon as people stop talking about that,
Yep.
then
Oh
you
yeah,
then you
yeah. I
transition
agree
to the
with you. I
next thing.
wouldn't say release them both on the same day, no, but I
Right.
would say releasing them close together wouldn't be the worst thing in the world because it's just like you're not cannibalizing sales because sales isn't your metric of success. You're basically trying to get folks to buy into Game Pass, and if one won't get you there, the other will, right? So that's what you're trying to do. If Game Pass is your priority, releasing them close together is just like, oh my god, and 1-2 punch, they have this, they have that, all this new stuff coming. That works in your world, right? But if you're Sony, where everyone has to buy Returnal, now everyone has to buy Ratchet and Clank. If you release them too close together, you might cannibalize your own sales, where somebody will go buy this and somebody will buy that when that person could buy both. You know what I'm saying? So it's a different narrative based on your business model.
It's still. I mean, I'm just thinking selfishly, but it's a time thing for me. So I'm like,
Sure.
if another big game comes out, I'm just being completely honest.
Mm-hmm.
The only game I am playing this holiday is Halo. Right?
Yeah. Yes.
It doesn't matter what else they put out.
Yep.
So, but I think that these games, which are like they're AA, but I think they're pretty high profile.
Mm-hmm.
I think like these are the games that pad out Halo, and then as soon as the kind of talk dies down about Halo, then you hit them with this other thing, and then people don't know what hit them. It's like games left and right in Game Pass. But so we don't have a word on the Gunk. Do we have any word on Exomecha?
Not Exomecha either. So far, it's all quiet. Now, remember, Exomecha is free to play, and Exomecha will eventually come everywhere. It's just that it's right now coming to Xbox first. At some point, Exomecha will be everywhere.
So now let me ask you another question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we haven't heard about these things because the dates were designed to be given at E3?
I think there's a bit of that. I think that because Microsoft is paying such close attention to what's going on in the gaming sphere and all that, they have come to the realization that if we drop a little here, we drop a little there, people pick it apart. So let's wait and really like load the bullets in the chamber, and then at our next big showing, we can really let loose. Because as you heard recently, Matt Booty had an interview where basically they're setting expectation, right? First, it was the idea that there'd be two separate conferences but side by side. Now it's been like, no, there's not two separate conferences side by side. It is one conference, which suggests that maybe some of the games.
But is there a Bethesda section, or is it?
Yeah, there will be a Bethesda section as I understand it, but because of the way the narrative is switched around how the conference will work, it seems to suggest, and Matt Booty already coming out saying that COVID has affected them seriously. That suggests that some of the things they were planning on showing, some of the things that were planning on being to make it two separate shows, maybe they'll hold back and then like keep it more contained, because you would think each of them is like an hour, right? We're not getting a 2-hour show. We're not. Right. Well, so that presumably thinks they're consolidating, and then they'll remove some so that it gives some others room to breathe and possibly come out a little later on that. So with that in mind, I suspect that's the reason why there's only one show together. So that's probably why they're also speaking to their partners and saying, we'll give you a big stage at E3, because now that stage, it has room for them at E3. Think about it. Before Bethesda was bought, they would have their own E3 show. What do you think they'd be showing? They'd be showing the next Wolfenstein. They'd be showing the next, they have others that they would show, and they usually show 1 or 2 new ones every year.
But now this is the other thing that I wanted to talk about. Like the Microsoft buys Bethesda. We know about Deathloop. We know about Ghostwire Tokyo, right? We've seen those. Everyone's talking about Starfield, but like, there's no way Bethesda only has those 3 games.
Exactly.
So what
every
else
year they come out, they always surprise people. So what do you think? They're going to surprise people now? Every year they come out, they have last time they had Ghostwire Tokyo showed up out of nowhere. We weren't expecting that, remember? And it just popped up, right? And they also showed what's the other one that's going to be the PlayStation exclusive? What I forget the name of that. Deathloop, right? None of those were telegraphed. As Bethesda likes to do, they just like to show up and then say, "Hey, by the way, we got something for you. Boom, here you go." Right? Which was great. Which is great, right? So I suspect I would not be surprised if we get something of that caliber coming again this year. You know, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to seeing where we are with that.
So, but now here's the other thing: do we just E3 predictions just because why not? And then we'll get out of here.
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah.
Does Xbox have anything up their sleeves that we don't know about? Do we get new Xbox?
We know that
do we get new announcements from Xbox Game Studios?
We know that already because Jason Ronald has already said some games that he's excited for have not been announced yet. Some games he's excited for 2021 have not been announced yet. He said that, remember, on the Iron Lords podcast. Not the games that were announced that haven't released yet, games that haven't been announced yet that are coming out in 2021. So that tells you definitely there are games that they're going to release this year that have not even been spoken of in the public sphere yet. I mean, yes.
Will they be released this year at this point, though? Because
who knows? Who knows? That's the question. Who knows? But what excites me is the idea that before all this became Bethesda with Microsoft, they were each planning their own bombs, right? Now, COVID, like screwing things up notwithstanding, they still were somewhat down the line there on each of those fronts. So now they're consolidating. That's fine. But that still means there's a lot of games coming at us. A lot of games coming at us, including games that no one's seen before. I doubt this will be a show where we just show you what we've shown you before. What I worry about with E3, and we'll have a full E3 conversation maybe next time, but what I worry about with E3 is that all the games that we were excited for last time we won't hide nor hear about it.
But that's going to be crazy. It's kind of like, okay, you showed us all these games. You're either going to show us the same games again, or which like that's kind of boring, right? Yep. But then if you don't show it, like why aren't you showing this to us?
That's right.
And then you show us new games, we're like, well, what happened to the last ones? I don't. That's right.
That's where the problem lies. Because I bet you the Senua Saga will not be shown. There may be a trailer, probably not.
Which is crazy if it's not shown.
Probably not.
That's crazy.
There are a bunch of games that will not be shown. Avowed will not be shown. I doubt it. Fable will probably not be shown. These are all early games. But remember, you cannot crucify Microsoft for doing that because they got out of the business of showing you something until it was done. And then people got mad at them because, come on, Sony does it. Just keep us excited. Sure, let's show you some things that'll excite you. But they're years away.
But Sony can do that because they have this track record of releasing games.
Well,
right?
But
I think that's
true that they have that track record, but Microsoft now has this backbone of Game Pass. Yeah, you won't see those games today, but trust me, every week, every 2 weeks, you're getting stuff you've never played before. This is us showing you the future, but that doesn't mean you're going to be stale until that future comes.
Okay, but they showed us the future in the last E3. What are they doing in this E3?
I bet there will be some updates. But it won't be focused on, see all those games we showed you last time? Here's where they all are now. What I'm hoping for is less CG trailers, more gameplay reveals, right? But I doubt that those games will actually be the focal point of this show. I bet you there'll be a lot of IPs that you weren't expecting to show up that will be there, which is what I'm excited for. This is good. This is what we want to show you. Hey,
I think it's going to be.
Sony said we have 23 games coming out and people lost their minds. Microsoft has 30 some odd teams. What do you think they're making? There's a lot of games coming.
Unfortunately, Microsoft is in the place where they have to kind of show and prove.
Yes,
and so, I get that. I don't know. I mean, for me, I feel like the show is just going to be a bunch of Game Pass announcements with a mixture of like surprise third-party deals. But I think those are really going to be the only surprises we get, right? Because in anything that you show me, if you show me, in-game for Hellblade 2 or you know there's going to be a big focus on Halo because they have to show it
Oh yeah,
off.
they're going to do a gameplay reveal of Halo.
And then we're going to see like a Starfield official announcement trailer, right? And they're going to spend a lot of time on that. And all the other,
or maybe they'll show a trailer. Gameplay trailer.
But this is the same thing. If you're showing me all of these games you told me about already, then guess what? That's not really a surprise. So what are they going to surprise us with? Guess what? Battlefield is coming, or guess what? We finally got Final Fantasy VII Remake. We didn't get Integrate because that's another 6-month exclusive. But we got that's the kind of thing that I think is gonna.
The reason why I think that's less likely is because all those cool Game Pass announcements are being done on Twitter. That's what they're being done on now. You don't do that on Twitter and then have a big show with all these things and then do the same thing there. That'd be lackluster, right? You've already established the ground that those announcements tend to happen on Twitter. Now, if you're telling me Ubisoft Plus or whatever is coming to Game Pass, that's a stage announcement. But to be like, oh, guess what? Battlefield is coming. Yeah, I'd like to see that, but that's not going to be a 15, 20-minute show. It'll be just a mention, right? Because they do that on Twitter. They do that on any given Tuesday.
All I'm saying is Microsoft is no stranger to knowing what the obvious move is and then doing the opposite.
Isn't that what do they say? Clutching defeat, snatching defeat from the jaws of victory.
Yeah. So
I hope that is not the case these days. And that's my hope. The reason why I have hope for that is because Bethesda has been good with their marketing.
Well, let me tell you
really
something.
Good. So hopefully they teach Microsoft something.
But here's the thing. People say Microsoft is bad at marketing. I'm not gonna lie. Like, for as hype as people get for any upcoming thing, and this is on the Sony side and the Xbox side, every time Microsoft announces something, everybody's super hyped for it, and then they get so hyped that it doesn't deliver on all the hype. So I would argue, aren't you good at marketing if you can get people that hype? They just need to get better at delivering.
Better at delivery. Okay. And when I say marketing, I mean calibrating the message correctly. It's useless hype. It'll always backfire. Look at Starfield, where we are now. It needs to be a calibrated message that makes the point.
What? And I'll ask you the same question, but I'll answer it first. How do I define success of this year's E3 for the Xbox show? Show me what Starfield is. Give me a launch window.
Okay.
And show Halo again in its proper form. You do those two things. You do those two things. Everything is gravy for me. Yeah. Everything is icing on the cake at that point.
Sure. Yeah. I want new stuff we have not seen before, because everybody keeps getting hype about that. I'm expecting to see new IPs because they have so many ridiculous teams, so many. The number is astronomical. We can only expect that they will show maybe more CG trailers, but at least, hey, this is more first party stuff that is coming down the pipe. The next time we talk to you, we'll show you more about the first list of games, but we'll give you more details. But this being the big E3 thing, you want big, fresh, new. Here's big, fresh, new. And that is probably 2023, 2024 games, but still, here's the hype for next time. You know what I'm saying? In addition to, here's some updates to what we showed you before. But that's what I need to see.
Here's the thing, and let's talk hard truths here. Like, I know this is all dependent on execution and working out like third-party deals and things like that, but I don't think Xbox hits its stride with these studios that we're
until like 2024, 2025. Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. But that's not a problem. They have Game Pass. Like that is the key. That is the key to all this. They can take as long as they need, as long as the wallets are still open to be able to give Ubisoft some money to bring something in, Square bring something in, Bandai Namco bring something in, and all these things are happening, right? they can bring something in. You're excited for Outriders for as long as it lasted, and now people have moved on. They're going to put something else into Game Pass. Day one, it's going to be exciting. Does that mean that they're while they're doing that, the rest of their own devs are at home, like just like eating their noodles, watching TV? No, they're busy building the next stuff. You know what I mean? So with the world where they have Game Pass as their backbone, I have no issues with them showing me games that are like 4, 5, 6, 7 years out. Show me those moonshots, because we know that next week there will be an announcement of new games, right? Because there always is an announcement of new games. Some big games, some small games, but still, we have so much to play. So when folks say that the Xbox has no games, that is stunning to me, because I think, like, have you not checked? Like, my hard drives are freaking full right now.
Listen, I have a terabyte expansion in both of my Xboxes that are full, right?
Yeah.
Because I usually don't install the same game on both unless I know I'm going to go back and forth.
On both, yeah.
That's 4 terabytes worth of not games.
I have the Series X has the external plus the internal terabyte, plus I have a USB 3.0 14 terabyte external hard drive, all together. I think I'm about 20% free. I have so many games, hundreds upon them, not including the ones I bought, but even the Game Pass editions. Oh, this is in there. This is in there. It's crazy. So honestly, I think we can button up this week with the idea that it's exciting times, and folks should not be spending all this time whining and complaining about they got no games, when they're coming out. Those that do tend to be those that are not paying attention to the platform, because if you did pay attention to the platform, you'd realize that, hey, this new game is out, why aren't you playing it? What is it? Knockout Cities is becoming this unusual darling that we need to co-op on, like Super Dodgeball in open world, like awesome game, and that's day one Game Pass. People are playing it, they're loving it right now. And then 5 minutes later they say, "Oh yeah, it came out yesterday. It's in Game Pass."
And here's
I tried to play it, but it's all over the place.
Here's the thing. That's I mean, we all know this, but now I'm gonna try that.
See,
and I'm just.
And then 5 minutes later, you hear somebody say Xbox got no games. You're not looking at the console. You're not watching what's going on, because it just showed up already. The Scarlet Nexus demo is exclusive to Xbox. It's on the front page. If you say Xbox has no games, it means you haven't checked the dashboard in a while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
there's a lot of games
there. They do need to get some of these exclusives out, but yes, that argument is ridiculous.
At this point, the exclusive talk is real, sure, but we've already beaten that drum to death, and we already know what they're doing. They're planning on releasing them, but games take time, right? They're not made by machines, they're made by humans, and humans take time. They need to eat dinner, they need to see their kids, they need to sleep. So let them do that while you play these other games that are now in Game Pass, right? I think that buttons it up. So next week, I'm excited to tell you about, hopefully, but I've been playing Biomutant for like the rest of my life, because I'm super excited to play that. Ratchet and Clank is my next big PlayStation game. I'm looking forward to that, because every time I check their YouTube page, they're showing like awesome like.
They had an interesting tweet today. It's a screenshot of the game where Ratchet is shooting a robot, and they're like, those bots won't even know what hit him.
Okay.
I'll send it to you.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. I'm like, I hate this, being that Game Pass is the model of choice these days. Until in between the next big game, I'm just kind of twiddling my thumbs. I want to return to Returnal, but I want to, because I love the gameplay, the moment to moment.
I'm not doing it.
Yeah, until I hear that maybe they've done the save system thing or whatever, I might just bow out for now. But yeah, it is what it is. So I think we're gonna call it this week. It was always awesome talking with you, my man. Tell the fine folks where they can find you everywhere on the internets.
You can find me every place at Everborn Saga. That's PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, you name it. But more importantly, check out everbornsaga.com. You can get a hold of the comic books that we produce. Like I said, I like to call what we do the strange alchemy of Western style comics with that are inspired by Japanese manga. So
I saw your shipments are on their way. It's
yeah,
close for the
they're
Kickstarters.
coming
I
soon.
got the email yesterday.
Around June 4th, we should get it. Then it has to clear customs. Awesome. Then it comes to me, and everybody gets their book. And then I will release Ariel's Adventure Chapter 1 on the store. And then not far behind that is Prince of Arcadia Chapter 4, which is already done. I'm just fixing some typos before I send that to the printer and release that. And then we got a new series coming out called The Redlands that I shouldn't even say the name, but I'll send you some pictures of it. It's going to blow everybody's mind. That's the one I was telling you the synopsis about the other day. So, yeah, man, big things, but just stay locked to follow me on Twitter because you'll know when everything releases, and check out everbornsaga.com because you can get like t-shirts and stuff like this and posters that are in the back. So, yeah, man. Until next week, and I will go and I'll be in the baker's house.
Enjoy. You should try that in VR and lose your damn mind. Me, you can find me K_Asante in Twitter. I'm usually all over YouTube. I'm looking forward to next week because, man, it's time to really kick the gaming thing into high gear. E3 is close, so as we're getting closer and closer, I think we're probably going to have a proper E3 conversation, proper E3 talk. Usually we'd like to keep this show a nice 60 minutes. This week we got a little bit passionate and we doubled our number.
It's the Halo talk.
It's the Halo talk, but we enjoy it. We love all those who are able to join and participate in the chat. And if you happen to catch this later on YouTube, we appreciate you. Leave a comment, subscribe, ring that bell notification. I always forget those things, this YouTube stuff, so that next time we're releasing a video or we're coming live. We want to grow this thing and have the circle be a circle full of lots of different voices that we can always chat with on the weekend. So we appreciate you watching and contributing in any way you possibly can. But until next week, for myself and my brother Everborn Saga, we say, I'm slowing it down. Goodbye.